Hey, if you're watching this on a screen right now, and let's be honest, you almost certainly are, then this explainer is 100% for you. We're going to dive into what all this screen time is really doing to our eyes, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. So let's get right into it.
It's a question I've definitely asked myself, After a long day staring at the computer, my eyes just feel tired, a little blurry even. I'm sure you know the feeling. But is this just some temporary strain, or is something a little more permanent going on with our vision?
We'll get this. The numbers are pretty shocking. Projections are showing that by the year 2050, a full half, of the entire world's population could be nearsighted. We are not talking about a small little uptick here. This is a massive global health trend, and it's happening right in front of our eyes, literally. So what is actually happening inside the eye? Okay, imagine you have a perfectly round balloon. Now picture stretching that balloon out. It gets longer and the wall gets thinner, right? That is basically what happens to the eyeball with myopia. It elongates, which messes up the focusing point. Light doesn't hit the retina at the back correctly, and the result? Everything in the distance becomes a blur. So what's our game plan for today? First, we're going to understand the enemy, this modern vision crisis, and why it's happening. Then, we're going to build a complete toolkit, talking about diet, exercises for your eyes, and simple daily habits. And finally, we'll get to the single most important thing you can do to protect your sight for life. All right, so to really get what's going on, we have to rewind the clock a little bit. See, for a long time, the main theory about why people got nearsighted, well, it was kind of missing the bigger picture. For decades, we just thought it was all in our genes. If your parents wore glasses, you were probably going to wear glasses too. End of story. But then researchers saw myopia rates just skyrocketing, way too fast for genetics to be the only culprit. That led to the new leading idea, the outside theory. And this is the key. It's not just that we're looking at screens, it's that the screens are keeping us indoors, away from the one thing that helps our eyes develop the right way. So why is sunlight such a big deal? Well, it all boils down to a chemical called dopamine. When bright, natural daylight hits your eye, it triggers a release of dopamine right there in the retina. And this dopamine acts like a stop signal. It tells the eyeball, okay, hold your shape, don't grow too long. Without enough of it, especially when you're a kid, that growth can just go haywire. And this is why this is so important. Being very nearsighted isn't just an inconvenience. As that eye stretches, the retina, that super delicate tissue at the back of your eye, gets pulled thinner and thinner. A great analogy is trying to spread a little bit of butter over a huge piece of bread. Eventually, it gets so thin it can tear or even detach, and that can cause permanent vision loss. So this isn't just about needing glasses, it's about saving your sight. Okay, so that's the problem, and it is a big one. But here's the good news. There is so much we can do about it. And we're going to start with the first part of our toolkit, something you already do every single day, eating. Let's quickly run through this nutritional cheat sheet. First up, lutein and zeaxanthin. Think of these guys as your eye's own internal sunglasses. They help filter out some of that damaging blue light. Next, omega-3s. These are absolutely crucial for your retina, and they help fight dry eye. And then you've got your antioxidant power team, vitamin C, E, and A, working with zinc to protect your eyes from wear and tear over the years. So what does this actually look like on your plate? It's really all about color and variety. Maybe throw some spinach in with your morning eggs. Snack on a handful of walnuts instead of chips. Have some salmon for dinner. See, even adding just one of these things gives you a powerful cocktail of nutrients to support your vision. It's easier than you think. Okay, now let's talk about movement. Just like any other muscle in your body, the tiny little muscles that control your eyes get totally exhausted from overuse, especially from staring at a fixed point, like a screen, all day long. But there are some simple ways to give them a good workout and a much-needed break. You have probably heard of this rule before, and there's a very good reason why. This advice from Dr. Starr is one of the most powerful weapons we have against digital eye strain. It is so simple, but it is incredibly effective. This one little habit can make a world of difference in how your eyes feel at the end of the day. And it's literally as simple as it sounds. Every 20 minutes, you just stop what you're doing, you look at something that's at least 20 feet away, maybe a tree out the window, a picture on the far wall, and you just hold that gaze for 20 seconds. That's it. This lets the focusing muscles inside your eye finally relax. Honestly, the hardest part is just remembering to do it. So set a timer, put a sticky note on your screen, whatever it takes to build that habit. All right, here's another great little exercise. It's called a pencil push-up. Think of your eyes as two cameras that have to work together to focus on something up close. This exercise trains them to be a better team. Just hold a pencil out at arm's length, focus on the tip, and slowly bring it in towards your nose. Stop right when the image doubles or gets blurry, then move it back out. Just a few reps of this can really help strengthen those eye muscles and reduce that strained feeling. We've covered the big stuff: getting outside, eating right, and exercising your eyes. Now, let's talk about the small, everyday habits that act like daily maintenance for your vision. These are the little things that really add up over time. So here is something you probably never think about: blinking. But check this out. When you're staring intently at a screen, your blink rate can drop by more than half. Blinking is basically your eye's built-in cleaning and moisturizing system. So fewer blinks mean dry, gritty, tired eyes. The fix? Just try to be mindful of it. Make a conscious effort to do a few full, deliberate blinks every so often. So really, it all comes down to a series of daily choices. On one side, you've got habits that actively damage your eyes, like smoking or always forgetting your sunglasses. On the other side, simple, protective habits: drinking plenty of water, getting a good night's sleep, taking those screen breaks. Every day, you get to choose which path you're on. We have covered a ton of ground, and everything we've talked about really puts a huge amount of power right back into your hands. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. And you know what? It just might be the most important one of them all. And here's why that professional piece is so absolutely critical. Some of the most serious sight-stealing conditions, things like glaucoma, often have zero symptoms in the early stages. None. They can be quietly damaging your vision long before you ever realize something is wrong. This is the bottom line. The number one most important thing you can possibly do for your vision is to get a regular, comprehensive eye exam. That's it. It is the only way to catch those silent diseases early enough, back when treatment can actually prevent you from losing your sight forever. It's the ultimate protective habit. So we've gone through the science, the food, the exercises, and the habits. The power to protect your vision is, for the most part, in your hands. So the real question is, what's the first step you're going to take today? Are you going to add some kale to your dinner, set that 20-20-20 timer on your phone, or maybe book that eye exam you've been putting off? Whatever you choose, you're taking an amazing step in the right direction. Thanks for tuning in.